It is that time of year yet again, where the goons gather for festivities. But alas, this season, I am stuck at home with the Rona. So, what does Breezy take for COVID? I'll tell you. I'm taking 1 tablet of vitamin D, 2 tablets of vitamin C, 30 milliliters of Dayquil, 1 tablet of Mucinex, 2 puffs of albuterol inhaler, and last but certainly not least, a little bit of TH. And so I've gathered the finest minds of the goons around the world and had them concoct stories, Breezmas Stories, for us to share. So I took these stories and put them into this ChatGPT bot. It's supposed to be meant for like research and stuff like that, but I thought, hey, let's use it for this retarded shit. The bot takes the prompt and with it weaves a story for our imaginations to run wild with. It even produces the name of the story. So let us begin the Breezmas night with Minecraft Goon Defeat. Leo was so excited for Christmas morning. He had been waiting all year to open his gifts and see what Santa had brought him. But as he was tearing off the wrapping paper, his excitement turned to horror. Andrew, one of his classmates, had snuck into the house and was stealing all of his presents. Leo tried to stop Andrew, but he was too strong. Andrew pushed Leo aside and ran out of the house with a big bag of gifts. Leo was heartbroken. He had worked hard all year to be good and earn these gifts, and now they were gone. But Leo wasn't one to give up easily. No, he grabbed his bike and set off after Andrew, determined to get his gifts back. As he rode through the neighborhood, he saw a group of goons hanging out on the corner. They were Lucas, Josh, Dylan, and Robert, and they were all known for causing trouble in the neighborhood. Leo stopped and asked the goons if they had seen Andrew. They laughed and told Leo that Andrew was their leader and they were all in on the gift-stealing scheme. Leo was furious. How could his own classmates do this to him? But Leo didn't let his anger get the best of him. He knew he had to come up with a plan to get his gifts back and stop these goons from causing any more trouble. He remembered that Andrew was obsessed with Minecraft, and he had a brilliant idea. Leo challenged Andrew and the goons to a Minecraft tournament, with the stakes being all of the stolen gifts. If Leo won, he would get his gifts back, and if Andrew and the goons won, they could keep them. The goons accepted the challenge, thinking they had an easy win. But they didn't realize that Leo was a pro at Minecraft. He worked tirelessly, building and crafting with precision and skill. In the end, he emerged victorious, and the goons were left empty-handed. Andrew and the goons were furious, but Leo didn't care. He had his gifts back, and he had saved the day. From then on, the neighborhood was a much safer and happier place, thanks to Leo's quick thinking and love of Minecraft. So what'd you think of that story? I thought it was pretty good, and it really goes to show that, man, things would be a lot better if you weren't such a bitch about Minecraft. Anyways, moving on, this next story should be a real treat for you all. This one here was dubbed Young Cameron Obsesses Over Feet. Please enjoy. Cameron was just a young boy, no more than 10 years old, when he first laid eyes on Mrs. Zai's feet. It was a typical day in his 3rd grade classroom at Maple Street Elementary, and Cameron was diligently working on his math homework when he happened to glance up and catch a glimpse of Mrs. Zai's petite feet peeking out from beneath her desk. At first, Cameron was a bit confused. He had never paid much attention to feet before, but something about Mrs. I's delicate toes and well-manicured toenails captured his attention. He found himself staring at her feet more and more as the day went on, trying to get a better look whenever he had the chance. By the end of the day, Cameron was completely obsessed. He couldn't stop thinking about Mrs. I's feet, and he found himself doodling pictures of them in the margins of his notebook. He even went so far as to sneak a peek at her feet during recess when she was sitting on the bench chatting with another teacher. As Christmas approached, Cameron's obsession only grew. He spent all of his allowance money on foot-themed trinkets and decorations, filling his room with foot-shaped pillows and footprint wall decals. He even skipped Christmas dinner with his family to spend the day in his room, surrounded by his beloved foot paraphernalia. And although his family and friends thought it was a bit strange, Cameron couldn't have been happier. He had found his true passion in life, and he knew that he would always be a foot fanatic at heart. Wow, what a truly inspiring tale about being true to yourself. This next one is a story of friendship and triumph. This story is dubbed Brandon's Magical Tooth Adventure. Enjoy. Once upon a time, in a small town nestled in the mountains, there lived a boy named Brandon. Brandon was a kind and adventurous young boy, always eager to explore and discover new things. But there was one thing that had always been a source of frustration for Brandon: his missing tooth. No matter how hard he tried, Brandon could never seem to keep a tooth in that spot. Whenever he lost one, another one would inevitably fall out shortly after. It seemed that no matter what he did, the tooth just couldn't stay put. One Christmas Eve, Brandon was feeling particularly sad about his missing tooth. He had always wanted to be able to eat all of his favorite holiday treats, but the gap in his teeth made it difficult for him to chew certain foods. As he sat by the fireplace, feeling sorry for himself, he couldn't help but wonder if he would ever have a complete set of teeth. Just then, something strange happened. As the flames from the fireplace danced and flickered, Brandon's missing tooth began to glow with a bright white light. It was as if the tooth was coming to life. At first, Brandon couldn't believe what he was seeing, but as the tooth grew and grew, it became clear that something magical was happening. The tooth had somehow come to life, and it was determined to help Brandon in any way it could. The tooth, which had now taken on a life of its own, told Brandon that it was determined to vanquish the gummy bear menace that threatened to steal Christmas dinner from all the goons in the land. Brandon was skeptical at first, but he couldn't deny the power of the tooth's determination. Together, Brandon and his magical tooth set off on a journey to defeat the gummy bear and save Christmas dinner. They traveled through snowy forests and over icy mountains, facing countless dangers along the way. But no matter what obstacles they encountered, the tooth never gave up. Finally, after many long days of travel, they reached the lair of the gummy bear. The tooth bravely charged into battle, using all of its strength and cunning to defeat the beast. And in the end, it was victorious. As the gummy bear lay defeated at their feet, Brandon and his tooth couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and accomplishment. But as they looked closer at the gummy bear, they realized that it was none other than Hunts, the notorious villain who had been terrorizing the land for years. Hunts had gotten so obese that no one had realized it was him all along. But thanks to the bravery and determination of Brandon and his magical tooth, the gummy bear menace had been vanquished once and for all. As the sun set on that fateful Christmas Eve, Brandon and his tooth returned home to a warm feast and the loving embrace of their family. And as they sat around the fireplace, basking in the glow of the holiday season, Brandon couldn't help but feel grateful for the magic of Christmas and the power of friendship. Wow, I guess it goes to show, even those who lack chromosomes are able to tap into the power of Christmas. This next tale is a tale of time, known only as Time-Traveling Goons Save Christmas. Andy had always been the adventurous one in his group of friends, so when he invited the goons to join him on a trip to his college campus for Christmas break, they all eagerly agreed. Cheyenne, Robert, Lucas, Dylan, Leo, Cameron, Josh, and Matt, that's right, everybody, packed their bags and set off on the long drive to Andy's campus. As they drove through the snowy countryside, Andy regaled them with stories of all the exciting activities that they would be able to do on campus. They planned to go ice skating, build snowmen, and drink hot cocoa by the fireplace in Andy's dorm room. But little did they know, disaster was looming on the horizon. As they neared the campus, they saw dark clouds gathering in the sky. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning struck the ground, and a loud explosion rocked the car. The goons panicked as Andy struggled to keep control of the vehicle. When the dust settled, they found themselves in the middle of a post-apocalyptic wasteland. The landscape was barren and desolate, with no sign of civilization in sight. Andy, being the resourceful and brave leader that he was, immediately took charge. He knew they had to get back to his campus, where he had access to a time machine that could take them back to before the disaster had struck. The goons followed Andy as he led them through the wasteland, facing all manner of dangers along the way. They encountered mutated creatures, fought off bands of raiders, and braved treacherous weather conditions. But despite all the challenges they faced, the goons never gave up. They were determined to get back to Andy's campus and save Christmas. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, they arrived at the campus. Andy quickly led them to the time machine, and with a flash of light, they were transported back to the present day. As they emerged from the time machine, they saw the campus as it was meant to be, a bustling hub of holiday cheer. The goons couldn't believe their eyes. They had made it back just in time to celebrate Christmas with Andy and all their friends. From that day on, the goons vowed to always stick together and face whatever dangers came their way, as long as they had each other by their side. And as for Andy, he knew that no matter where life took him, he could always count on the goons to have his back. Wow, talk about a great place to end this holiday storytelling. But no, there's still one last story. This last story will remind you of the true meaning of Christmas. This story is called Goons Steal Leo's Game. Please enjoy this last tale of the season. Leo was a young boy with a heart of gold and a sparkle in his eye that could light up a room. Christmas was his favorite time of year, and he always looked forward to the joy and excitement that the holiday brought. This year, however, things were different for Leo. He had been diagnosed with cancer, and the treatment had left him feeling weak and exhausted. Despite this, he still tried to keep a positive attitude and look forward to the joys of the holiday season. On Christmas Eve, Leo excitedly opened his presents, marveling at the games, toys, and other treasures that his loved ones had given him. There was one present in particular that he was especially excited to open. It was a gift from his parents, and he knew that it was something special. As he tore off the wrapping paper, Leo's eyes widened with delight as he saw what was inside. A brand new video game console. He had been wanting one for ages, and he couldn't believe that his parents had finally gotten him one. But as he was about to turn on the console and start playing, he heard a loud knock on the door. A group of goons had burst into the house, brandishing weapons and demanding that they hand over all their valuables. Leo was terrified, and he watched in horror as the goons rummaged through his presents, tossing them aside and stealing everything they could. But as they were about to leave, one of the goons spotted the game console that Leo had just received.
"Hey, what's this?"
he said, picking up the console.
"I've always wanted one of these. I bet the rest of the guys would like it too."
Leo couldn't believe what he was hearing. He knew that the goons would never understand the true value of the game console. To him, it was a way to escape from the stresses and pains of his illness, and to have a little bit of fun in a difficult time. But before he could do anything, the goons had snatched the console and were making their way out the door. Desperate to get it back, Leo gathered up all of his strength and courage and chased after them, determined to retrieve his beloved present. As he ran, he shouted at the goons, trying to get their attention and make them see the error of their ways. And to his surprise, they actually stopped and turned around to listen to him.
"Please don't take my present," Leo pleaded. "It's not just a game console to me. It's a way to escape from my illness and have a little bit of fun. Can't you see that?"
Yes, that's the way Leo sounds. The goons looked at each other, then back at Leo. They could see the pain and sadness in his eyes, and they knew they had done something wrong. "We're sorry, kid," one of them said. "We didn't know. Here, take your present back." Leo couldn't believe it. The goons were actually apologizing and returning his present. Overjoyed, he ran back to the house, hugging his game console close and feeling grateful for the kindness of others. From that day on, the goons made a conscious effort to be more thoughtful and considerate in their actions, and Leo learned that even the toughest and most hardened people can sometimes be moved by compassion and understanding. And as he sat down to play his new game, he couldn't help but smile, knowing that he had not only gotten his present back, but had also helped to change the hearts of those who had taken it. I hope you enjoyed these beautiful tales of compassion, friendship, triumph, and Christmas spirit. Remember, no matter where you are in the world, if you don't have COVID, be happy you don't have COVID. I feel like Big Poop Mix Scoop. And also, thank you for tuning in.
I guess I really don't know what Christmas is all about.